demo of Handy GPS Free. This is the free version of the app. There's also a paid version that has a lot more features and no limitations. Okay, so when you start up the app, you will notice that there's this button up the top. If you press that, it takes you to the location settings page. Make sure your location settings turned on and the app is set to high accuracy satellite mode. Then once you've got a GPS location, you need to be outside to get a GPS location. Once you get that location, you'll see the easting, northing populate, and then you may want to add a waypoint using the plus button at the top to point. For example, if I'm starting from a car, I can save the waypoint for my car so that I can return to that at a later point. Now, we have a waypoint menu. We can choose the car. We can choose properties such as go to. That will direct us back to the car. So the go to page is very useful. Also along the top here we have compass page, which will point magnetic north if your phone has a magnetic sensor. There's options on here. You can toggle true and magnetic and various other options. Most of the pages have a menu button at the top. So going along the top here, we have a simple map view. Now this map view just shows you the waypoints and track logs you've got recorded, along with a scale bar down the bottom and a north arrow up the top. Now this doesn't show any background. Now the reason for this is if you're in a remote country and you don't have any offline maps, you can at least view where you are in relation to your waypoints and your track logs. So the little human figure here is where you currently are, and if the GPS doesn't know where you are, it'll show that with a question mark. Okay, so the next button along is the Google Maps page, a more useful map with a background. So we can see that we've got the satellite mode turned on, and we can go for a normal street view sort of mode, and we've also got a few other options like terrain, and you can also turn off the background altogether. But normally you'd probably want to operate in satellite mode. Now the map page has a lot of options as well. You can show a scale bar there. You can show and hide your track logs or your waypoints, etc. So for now I'll just turn the scale bar off. Okay, so the waypoints menu has quite a few options. You can view the properties of a waypoint. So it'll give you the coordinates, and if your current location is known, it'll show the distance and direction. It'll also show things like the time the waypoint was recorded and the altitude. You can also show it on the map, which will just zoom to that point. If you've got two waypoints, you can find the distance between them by going car to platform. It'll show you that car to platform is 428 meters, and that's the bearing is southwest. You can rename a waypoint, you can edit a waypoint, which just lets you change the coordinates. You can join waypoints to make a track log on the map. You can make a route, which is a route that you can follow using the go-to page, and of course you can delete a waypoint. Next row down we've got different coordinate types. So it defaults to UTM and WGS84. But you can change that to lat long degrees, minutes seconds, or lat long degrees minutes. So if we put in degrees minutes seconds, we'll see the location show up there in that format, and then indeed everything in the app, including the properties, will show up in that coordinate system then. And also we can choose a couple of Australian datums here, but generally in other places in the world you just use WGS84 in the free version. In the paid version you can create custom datums, so you can make datums that suit the local maps in your country, and indeed there are some default custom datums built into the app in the paid version, but in the free version you're just basically limited to these datums. Okay, so going down the screen we can see the zone is 56H currently, and the latitude, longitude, the accuracy. So So that's the GPS accuracy, plus or minus 3 meters here. The altitude, now since for this demo I'm using a fake location, it's actually recording it's actually showing a negative altitude. So what the app does is normally the altitude will be a GPS altitude will need correction using a geoid correction. Now what the app does is automatically corrects the altitude using a lookup table, so for your location. So in this case it's subtracting 24 off the altitude to make it correct. Now that's a bit of an advanced topic, but suffice to say that the altitude is as accurate as can be, although GPS accuracy is never that great, but that geoid feature improves the accuracy. Down here we've got speed and direction if you're moving. Then we've got an odometer. So the odometer increases as whenever you move, and you can reset it by pressing this button. Over to the right here there's a bit of info. You can press that I button and it shows you how many waypoints and track logs are loaded. Okay, so being the free version, it's limited to storing 3 waypoints and 40 track log points. So 40 track log points at a spacing of 25 meters, which is the default, means you can record about 1 kilometer of track log or just over half a mile. In the paid version, no limits. Okay, now the next row down here we've got import, so we can import a file that we've previously saved. We can export, so we can save the waypoints and the track logs to a KML file. You can also save to GPX as well. Next button here is delete, so you can delete all and reset. That deletes the waypoints, track logs and resets the odometer, or you can just delete waypoints or track logs. Next button along is the camera button, but that's not enabled in the free version. The pause button here will pause and recording. The torch button here will turn on the inbuilt flash of the phone if you have one, and you can use that as a torch at night. Down the bottom row we've got this preferences page, so if we press that it brings up preferences page. Now there's 7 different sub preference pages here, and they're collapsed by default. So for example, the general page, you can set the units and track log recording spacing, the default output file, KML or GPX, and various other things. So there's a lot of options, and that's why they're categorized. For example, on the main page you can show a timer line if you want. What that'll do is it'll show, if you've got the screen space, it'll show there. You can start that timer, and that will, as you walk, that will time, and you can use this button over the right here of the timer line to compute the average speed using the odometer and the timer. So that's a little feature that's turned off by default, just to save screen space. Okay, going along here we've got the satellites view page. This shows you the location of each satellite that you're receiving, and currently there's no satellites because I'm using a fake GPS location for this demo. This next button along here is just a shortcut to go to, so it'll just quickly let you go to a waypoint, and by default you can go to the current waypoint, which is at the top, and you can choose one from a list, or you can enter the waypoint's name. Next button along is the help. You press that and it will take you to the online help if you have a data connection, and that's fairly comprehensive online help, including, so it shows you what the buttons do and various help topics, and there's various videos about the app. Now the exit button here, if you press that it will shut the app down properly. If you don't do that, if you don't shut down the app properly, then the app will keep running and recording your track log, and it will use battery power. So I recommend when you're done using the app you press the exit button. But for now we'll see what the menu button does. So this button right over here is the menu button. So we can show a grid reference, but we have to be in UTM coordinates to see the grid reference. So let's try that again. Show grid reference, and it's the 6-digit grid reference. We can change that to MGRS. If we go to the general show grid, choose show grid in MGRS format, and then if we show the grid reference, that's in the format that's often used in the US, grid reference. So next option here, you can upgrade to the full version of the app, and you can clear a route. I'm not going to explain what route now, it's a bit too complicated for a short demo. The About button shows which, so version 24 we're running here, which is the latest version. So there's Manage Session. So what you can do, if you want to clear everything and start again, choose to start a new session. And it prompts you, would you like to export the data first? In this case, yes, I'll say no. Warning, you're going to lose all your current data. Proceed. Okay. Now, if I'm going walking in an area, for example, a nearby area, Somersby, I can enter that. And it appears in the status bar at the top of the app. And starting a new session has also reset my odometer and the timer and deleted all the track logs. So I'm all clear for a new walk now. Now when I go out recording, it'll be a blank slate and it'll start recording a track log. And I can then, I've got no waypoints added, so what the session does primarily is when you go to export, the session will be the prefix for the default file name. You can change the file name, but it defaults to the session name followed by the date. So in this case, 19th of May 2017. And in the paid version, if you choose to take a photo, which is not enabled in this free version, that will also be filed under an appropriate folder for the session name with the date stamp. So it kind of lets you organize your data all together so you can keep your KML file and your photos for each trip together. Okay, so that's probably enough about the app for now. So just briefly about the paid version of the app. Okay, so the paid version has offline map support, which is very useful when you're in remote places, because when you go to the map page, if you've managed to cache enough maps while you're in signal range, it'll work. Otherwise, you'll have to just use the simple map, which doesn't have the background on it. But in the paid version, you can actually download map tiles for the area that you're interested in. And also, up here I said there's only a few Australian datums. In the paid version, you can customize virtually any lat long or transverse Mercator datum projection. So it's quite versatile. And the paid version, you can take photos which can be geotagged from within the app. There's a whole lot of other features as well, like calculating the sunrise and sunset, and being able to email your location to a friend. And of course, there's no limit. You can have as many waypoints, as many track logs as you want in the paid version. Okay, so try out the free version first, and if you like it but you find it a bit limiting, then just go to this menu, press upgrade to full version, and that will take you to the Google Play, and that will install the paid version after you pay for it, of course. Okay, so thanks for watching my demo. That's Handy GPS Free version 24.